Greetings, welcome back to New York City, where it's a beautiful fall day. Well, it seems like a fall day. It's overcast, it's very cool, it's pretty crazy. I want to talk about two records today that someone requested after seeing one of my last videos. This was up on the wall behind me. Those are some of the records from my collection. I like to have a diversity of records behind me, but I thought that would be cool. And then again, Elvin Jones from 1965 on Atlantic. Also on Atlantic, Philly Joe's Beat, Philly Joe Jones, 1960. We'll start out with the Philly Joe Jones record. There's a reason Philly Joe Jones is probably one of the most recorded sidemen of the 50s and 60s in jazz. The guy's an absolute thunderball. If you want to hear just the basic version of Philly doing his thing, get Miles Davis's Milestones and check out Two Bass Hit. Or check out the last performance of Miles and Philly Joe together off of a recording, a 2LP set, I think it's called Circle in the Round, and they have an amazing version of, I think it's Love for Sale. And at the end of it, they start trading fours, and it goes on for a long time until they're almost falling over. But he is such an incredible, indefatigable drummer. He has so much energy and power. And at the same time, he had a lot of grace and sensitivity. He had incredible technique. When I first started studying jazz drums, I really loved Philly Joe because his ride cymbal beat is constant. Ding, 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 ding. Now, while Paul Wells, a great drummer here in this city, he's been on my channel a few times, says Philly does break it up, I think by and large, Philly kept that standard ride beat, ding, ding, da, ding, ding, da, ding, constant at almost any tempo. And this is like a coming out party. I do think this is better than the other album he did, Showcase. And he did a series of albums with less of a high profile thing. He even did a record with Archie Shepp, which is pretty bizarre. But this record is a real, just a powerhouse of arrangements, of solos, of recording. This is recorded by Tom Dowd at Atlantic Studios, which I think was in New York City in the 50s, the Blockwise in the 50s back then. And it includes a great lineup of Bill Barron on tenor sax, Michael Downs, who I've never heard of, on cornet, who's fantastic, Walter Davis piano, and Paul Chambers bass. These are really energetic, as you would expect, full bore, in your face arrangements. And I'm scanning the liner notes and I don't see who did the arrangements. Maybe Philly did them, I don't know. Philly could obviously read music. As a drummer, if you listen to him, he's a study in rudimental panache and rudimental glory. And there's some amazing solos on this record, longer than most of the solos I've ever heard him play. There's one solo where he goes from playing all this crazy stuff to very light buzz rolls, and then he breaks it out. And the arrangements are so high octane, at times the stuff's almost too fast for the guys to play. They're kind of hanging on by their fingernails. But in saying that, it's all great performances, and this is one of those classic Atlantic records where on the back it gives you the recording information. This is a high fidelity recording. Atlantic uses a specially constructed 8-channel Ampex 308R tape recorder for its recording sessions. Individual microphone equalization is not permitted. The sound created by musicians and singers is reproduced as faithfully as possible. Special care is taken to preserve the frequency range. Transfer from master tapes to master lacquers is made on an Ampex tape 300 tape recorder. Scully variable pitch lathe. I think Rudy Van Gelder also used a Scully. And Grampian feedback cutter head. That's one of the things Alex Halberstadt recently wrote for Stereophile, why he likes, as I do, these old pressings. This has not been reissued on vinyl, by the way. These older pressings than the new fancy reissues. And we're thinking part of it may be the lathes that were used to actually cut the lacquers. Maybe that's part of it. Because obviously Joe Harley and Kevin Gray are not replicating exactly Rudy Van Gelder's recording chain, nor could they. I don't think it's possible to do that unless you buy all that exact equipment, and that equipment might not be versatile enough for what Kevin and Joe want to do today. But this is a blast of a record. I've had it for a long time. There's also a great record of Philly Joe and Elvin together with a big safety pin on the side. But this is great fun. And it's interesting because there's 3 tracks by Dizzy Gillespie here. Salt Peanuts, Two Bass Hit, and That's Earl Brother. And Philly Joe is sort of the Dizzy Gillespie of drummers. Extremely extroverted, extremely talented, extremely versatile. Jimmy Garrison also contributes to the track, Laurie, and Philly Jones contributes to the track, Got to Take Another Chance. So a really great record all the way around. Philly Joe's beat, full dynamic frequency spectrum, aka mono, Atlantic 1340. Now, the Elvin record, Elvin and Then Again, is 1965, the same year that out came, that was released, A Love Supreme. And so we can look on the horizon and see there's only so many years left for Elvin with John Coltrane. And this record seems to assert who he is. There's nothing Coltrane-ish on this record. There's even very few of what you think of as his rolling full set triplets that he became famous for with Coltrane. This almost sounds like an earlier Elvin, but it was recorded in 1960, right down to this bumpkin outfit he has on. Isn't it strange? Like a Jethro shirt and a pair of jeans. You know it's not a Blue Note session where everybody's all dressed up. But anyway, this has a fantastic cast and some extremely progressive arrangements, courtesy of the great Melba Liston, who is a trombonist and an arranger, and a female arranger in that time who did not get her due. And I was sort of thinking about it today. If you listen to the soundtracks of Lalo Schifrin or Jerry Goldsmith, they take a lot from what Melba Liston was doing in this period. She only put out 2 records. I think one was on Metro Jazz. Probably because she was a woman, she was not highly respected. But these arrangements are so smart, and they put Elvin in some unusual corners when it comes to the rhythms he's going to play, or the solos he plays, and following the form of the arrangements. Really beautiful arrangements, arranged and conducted by Melba Liston. And this too has a really great lineup on it. Frank West, Charles Davis, Hunt Peters on trombone, I don't know, Don Friedman on piano, Paul Chambers on bass, Thad Jones on cornet on one track, Hank Jones on piano, Art Davis on bass. Melba Liston arranged and conducted all the tunes in this LP, with the exception of And Then Again, which is the one track by Elvin Jones. But the arrangements are so sophisticated. This is not you can tell it's not a Blue Note session. We're going to have a head, not to take anything away from Blue Note sessions, but there's nothing as sophisticated in the Blue Note repertoire that I think of as you hear on this record. They're just really unusual colors and moods and unusual phrasing. Odd things are happening that force musicians to come up with the goods. And of course Elvin does, and plays some beautiful solos, or great solos all the way around, and everyone plays masterfully on this record. The Philly Joe record is good, but I bet Philly's kind of pushing the tempo, so some of them are having trouble hanging on. But this record, man, it's just, I've listened to it about 6 times, and there's so much to get out of it, and Elvin sounds so wonderful. Azan by Charles Davis, All Deliberate Speed by Melba Liston. All Deliberate Speed, I think, is referencing a Martin Luther King speech, perhaps. Elvin Elpis, also by Melba Liston. Soon After by Jodora Marshall. Thad Jones, Forever Summer. Melba Liston's Len Seurat. So 3 tunes by Melba Liston. So it's like Elvin asserting who he is in the jazz community, to my way of thinking, outside of what he did with Coltrane. And it's 65, so he's already done all this amazing stuff on Atlantic, on Impulse, and I'm not sure how many records there are to go actually before he leaves Coltrane, but not that long to go. But this is a wonderful record, wonderful laminate. The Philly Joe also has nice laminate, a frame cover. I don't know if you can see it there, but you see the frame around the side. I think I bought this at the store. I really don't remember. I saw it once and I bought it. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching the channel. I would appreciate it if you would like and subscribe, because I'm getting hit with these frickin' medical bills and they suck. Have a great day.